we are presenting you with Broker's Playbook, the first ever webcast for real estate and mortgage professionals across the world. So we are, of course, Canada-based, even Toronto-based. That said, this is going to have a really big scope. Obviously, our perspective is from Ontario, Canada. However, we are going to have some excellent speakers and hosts with us throughout the coming weeks that can give you international perspectives. Of course, regardless of where you are, people are people, goals are goals, and business is business. So let's get down to business. You ready, Simeon?
I'm ready, girl.
Wicked. Yeah, so why don't you talk about a little bit of why we're here? What do you bring to the table, Simeon?
Yeah, so I mean, my name is Simeon Papa-Elias. I'm the co-founder of the REC Canada group at Royal LePage Signature. We have been at this thing for about 15 years. And I mean, doing this thing at the last 5 years, we've really turned up the mustard, and we were able to get that kind of to the top of the game for Royal LePage is concerned. We're in #1 position across the nation. So we sell quite a bit of real estate, and it took us a long time, and we tried a lot of different things. And what I'm really trying and hoping that this accomplishes is that it gives those with 0 to 5 years experience kind of the ideas and the tried and tested and true methods of succeeding quicker. And for those colleagues of mine that have the same experience as me or more, if anybody's stuck or if anybody needs to talk, if anybody wants to mentor and share ideas, I'm hoping that we can set up massive collaborations and just get this thing going. Like, just have more fun, make more money, do more deals, be happier and bigger and better as a community in total, like as a whole. So that's where I'm going with this thing.
Yeah, that's what's up. And I think it's about time that mortgage and real estate professionals start collaborating on more than just a per deal basis. You know what I mean? I find that it's very fly by night. It's like, hey, I got a deal right now, and you talk, and then it's done. And there was no talk of like, hey, how can we build together? How can we kind of have our entire teams come up in tandem? And how can we monetize this beyond a per deal basis, really, with social capital? And that is the name of my game in particular. And right now, that needs to be everybody's focus, because you cannot focus on the short term monetary game right now. That's not a thing. Obviously, some people are making money right now, obviously, but it doesn't really serve you to just focus on the short term gains now. Right now is the time to be building from the ground up. And we're going to start with mindset. Yeah, that's free.
Mindset is free. And I mean, the mindset is everything in the beginning of your career, during your career, and well into when you choose to retire. The mindset controls every action that you take and every reaction that you take. So every time you get smashed with an L, in Broker's Playbook, L's don't mean shit. It's L doesn't stand for loss; it stands for lesson. And a W can stand for work. It can stand for win. It can stand for whatever it is you choose to interpret it as. So every time we've ever been beaten up, and I'm going to speak quite a bit about my business partner Jazz, because he's had a lot to do with the last 5 years turn of events, and of course my mentor that got me started in this business, Simon, who's no longer with us. But there's a lot of really hardcore lessons that have been served up by life and by business in my world. I'm going to be sharing a lot of personal stuff for sure. But mindset is getting up after you've been served some life. You know what I mean? So how you get up, how you react, and who you become really depends on mindset. So mindset is everything. Where are you at, Laura?
Well, for me, mindset starts with routine, which is something that I'm actually naturally very averse to. I love room to breathe. I love creativity. If you asked me 7 years ago or even 3 years ago if I would ever see myself waking up at 6 a.m. simply to meditate, exercise, and journal, I'd say you got the wrong girl. It's not a thing, right? But at some point, you want your dreams to become reality. And at some point, 8 hours a day isn't enough, because those 8 hours a day between 9 and 5 are not yours. There's an important differentiation between something that's urgent and something that's important. Urgent means important to someone else. They call you, hey, my deal, my money, my file, whatever it is, right? I need this done now. That's urgent. What's important is that long game, that those hours that you need to sit there and strategize or reach out to your client base that isn't an immediate now thing, people that aren't even in your pipeline yet, right? Like just taking this time aside to do that, to get your head screwed on straight so that you can come at your day full on. And that when someone comes to you with BS saying, hey, this is urgent, it's like, well, is it though? Or could it wait? Right? And you're not going to get pulled in so many directions. So I think it's really important to create routines and make sure you have at least an hour clear of anybody else's things that they want from you. Anything. Your kid, your man, your woman, whatever it is, go away for an hour at least. And that time needs to be spent going in.
So in investing inwards in the beginning of the day. I mean, less than 6 months ago, I don't know if it was a year or 6 months ago, when the 5 a.m. Club, the book came out. I read that thing in a hard book format. I also downloaded it to my Audible. It's nothing revolutionary at all, is it?
It's Morning Miracle. It's called the 5 a.m. Club. They've repackaged it 100 times. It's the same thing. You meditate, you journal, you exercise, you visualize, you affirm, and you read. It's still the same.
It's still the same, and you do that. And I think what's really pressing here, because we're going to get at some point in this, we're going to get into the 8-point plan, which is so take it back a notch, because we got to cover kind of a lot of stuff on this launch. Every single episode of this webcast/podcast is going to include a plan. So it's called Broker's Playbook for a reason. So every single mortgage broker, a real estate broker, a real estate salesperson, I don't care if you're an admin, if you're in the real estate game, you belong here. This is your safe zone. This is your place. You're going to be able to share and contribute to the group all day, every day. Because we're both practicing, I manage a team of over 30 real estate agents, and I contribute to the sales and marketing, that's my partner's division, sales and marketing. I do our business development and our team management, but I contribute as much as I can to every component, but we kind of stay in our lane. We're going to be sharing what we gave, what Canada's #1 transacting team has been given in the last 2 weeks. I'm going to talk about all the things that I've implemented into our business, because obviously we're looking to stay at the top. We're not looking to come down. But we're also not the type of team that has the secret sauce and doesn't share it. So we've been extremely vocal that the pie is big enough to share. And if we ever run out of pies, we can go bake some. So deal creation. If you're a mortgage broker, there's shit you need to be doing right now. So the playbook is coming out of this episode. It's going to be emailed out by the end of the week to every single person who registered or needs it or wants it. But we're going to talk about it today. We started with mindset. We started with, I know I read and I listen to a lot of audiobooks because of my commute. Laura, I know you definitely read. You're a reader, and that's huge. But talk about that first crack in the morning. You were saying, get rid of your man, get rid of your woman before your kids are up. Like, why is that so important? Why is it so important for that you time? What happens in that time?
You ground yourself in what's important to you that day. You set 3 goals that, you just got to get those things done, right? Like if 2 out of 3 of those things are done, that day is a success in your books. And you just write those things down, and wherever you're floating, right? If you find yourself between calls or getting pulled in different directions, you just ground yourself back to those things that you recognize before your head got cluttered full of other things, you need to go focus on those things. And then you can go to bed at night feeling accomplished. If I don't start my day like that, if I start by getting woken up by my kid and making breakfast and this and that, it's a shit show. I'm just chasing my tail the whole damn day.
No doubt. Especially now. So let's bring it kind of currently to the current environment.
It's a shit show. Before I could run off and sort myself out on the way to work or whatever, but now it's real talk, guys. Real talk. You need to clear that. You need to be, if you go for a walk for that hour, if you need to like clear out of there, fine. You need alone time. Greatness and ambition are achieved through solidarity and sacrifice. You need to sacrifice that thing you like doing, like whatever it is, if it's, playing video games for an hour or dicking around or whatever it is, right? Like, give it up. Give it up. Set some goals and chase them, women.
It's savage because there are people who actually, I'm not trying to judge anyone on what they do in their pastime, but if you're talking about comparing your business and struggling in your business versus playing Super Mario, I mean, we've got some serious issues. And you're going to find yourself in check real quick here in Blue Broker's Playbook. I'll tell you, that'll be some tough love. You know what I mean?
But I think the difference, right, is when you're going deep in yourself, you remind yourself of your purpose and your why. And that's part of our 8-point plan too. And it's find your why, know your message and your purpose. And when you have that, you wake up knowing what you got to do. And it doesn't become a sacrifice anymore. It's like, hey, I want to do this. And when I didn't have that, when I was like 4 years into the brokering game, I was in my 20s, I was like a bit lackadaisical. I used to waste like 4 hours a day on Facebook. I'd get into like a wormhole of Facebook articles and comments or something like that. And like no one feels good after that. And it's really hard to manage your time now more than ever.
Yeah, like checking your emails for hours and clicking on links and all this bullshit. Right now, we're going through COVID. We're working from home. Excuse me. We're working from home. I'm going to give my a perfect example of today. Not yesterday, not a week ago, but today. I spoke with my wife last night. We had a plan. I woke up at 6 o'clock. I actually didn't get my workout in today. I've implemented some good routines lately. I didn't get my workout today in, but I did get organized because I knew the kind of day that I would have. So I did spend 45 minutes before my firstborn was up at 7, and I was ready and set to go from that sense. I cooked them breakfast. My wife came downstairs. She logged on to her PC. My wife's a social worker, and she has some significant and very urgent and pressing matters that come on her dashboard. Nothing like sales, like our life. It's just night and day. But we had a plan where I was going to work from home today, not go to the office, because I've been going to the office even during COVID. There's nobody there, so I'm literally the only one there. Sometimes with my director of team operations, just to have peace. I'm homeschooling 2 kids, and my wife's a social worker, which is demanding. So the plan didn't work out. Her dashboard got hit with the case. Her supervisor is calling to see what's going on. My kids are both at the table. Literally, the lights aren't on, but they literally study. I would say 12 feet away from me. So she's looking at me. I'm getting into my stuff. I'm looking at her. She has to get on a call. Both my kids are freaking out. Like it's 8 o'clock in the morning. They just had their Cheerios. Like these kids have energy. So you want to talk circus, and we're definitely not the only ones living this. So there's hundreds of our colleagues live in this reality right now. What is your take? Like, I'm going to give my 2 cents. I worked out on a plan where I leave for 4 hours a day, then I come back to kind of relieve her. And I can get into the details of that. Today it didn't work. I actually had to leave and implement it on the day that I was supposed to stay. But what do you do right now? Because I know you have a wonderful son, and you have your man at home and all the duties that come with running a home and everything else that we do. How do you manage that right now?
We tag team it. It's like mornings are really important to me, as mentioned. So if I have my like 6 to 12 stint in, then I've done a bunch of shit. and then I can go for a bike ride, burn some energy, put his ass down for a nap. But yeah, I mean, we don't exactly have it right either. But the main thing is don't make yourself a martyr, okay? If you need help, you damn well ask for it. You don't just sit there feeling sorry for yourself, like you've taken the burden on. I feel like there's kind of two kinds of people. There's people that will take it on and just, bear that load. And then there's others that, just coast by and assume everything's fine, right? So I'm kind of the latter. I'm very, very, forthcoming about the importance of having time for myself and what I need and the help I kind of need. But I find that a lot of people are not willing to ask for that help. They don't think that alone time is important enough. So I guess you could say I'm self-important. I believe that my time is important and my career is important, and that I ask for the help I need to achieve my goals, COVID or not, quarantine or not.
COVID or not COVID. During COVID, March 15th is kind of when all this shit started. We're sitting now, it's May 20th. It's May 20th, bro. We're talking about 2 full months of complete chaos where people don't know what's up. People don't know what to think, what to do, what's right, what's wrong. If I put out marketing, is that going to be looked at the wrong way? Just so I want to kind of really go into.
So actually, I think we should talk about marketing right now too, because there's a great quote and it's been floating around. It says, "Marketing is the price you pay for not staying in touch with your referrals," which is not fair to say for people that have just started. But the gist of this is that it is far more expensive to acquire a new client than it is to care about your existing network. And it could be literally as simple as going through your phone book and texting 10 people. Like that is going to go so much further. And you don't know which way things are going to go necessarily. You don't know if it's going to be a deal today or a referral tomorrow or in 2 months. But the point is consistency. And the point is to be there in service to others. You're not asking for business. You are giving advice. You are giving certainty, and you are giving information to people that are completely upside down right now. And for the new people out there, you may not feel like an expert yet, but I can guarantee it, you are compared to the consumer. Okay, so even if you are a few days in, or a few months or a year in, you're still an expert compared to the other consumers if you're doing your homework. If you're out there reading the latest CMHC reports or TREB reports, that's the important thing. You need to be on top of these things and then forthcoming with this information. So right now is the time for the soft sell, not the hard sell.
Soft sell versus hard sell. Tell me a little bit about it. What do you define as a soft sell?
Soft sell is dancing around it. You're not selling anything. You're not saying, "Hey, let's refinance. Hey, let's buy. Let's get an investment property." It's like, "Hey, how you doing? How's Jenny? Did you get those renos done? How's your business? Are you struggling? Can I help you out? If they have a small business, maybe you go support them or post about them on Facebook." I just did a post about Reed's Gin Distillery. They're an awesome gin company, and Martin Reed used to be in the mortgage industry. So like these kinds of shout outs and back patting and just helping people out wherever you can in terms of free information is the soft sell.
Amazing. I'm going to share a little bit about what I have done. I'm going to share a little bit about what the REC as a company has done. And I'm going to share a little bit of what my partner has done. When you put those 3 things together, you can come out with some really strong results. And I'm not going to say any of this from a perspective of look at me or anything like that, because that's just not what we have done. There's not a single post on our social boasting about a result or anything. This is an industry discussion amongst our colleagues, and this is the advice I'm going to give you is from the insight of what we have actually accomplished as a group, as a team, with our staff, with our salespeople, with our wonderful administration staff. In the results, I will tell you, I couldn't be more proud because they're staggering. They're staggering. Laura, have you met my partner in person or?
Just once.
That's right. That's right. What I'll say is this: March 15th came. When we left the office and packed our shit, we really said, "See you guys in a couple weeks."
Yep.
Nobody saw it coming the way it came. Nobody knew what to think of it, including the Pope, including the president. Okay? So nobody knew that we're packing our shit for 10 weeks minimum. Nobody told us that. They said, pack your shit, NBA season's done, NHL is done, NBA is done, da, 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 da. Okay? So we're home. So what we did is we kind of just go like this for the first 2 weeks. People are laying people off. People are freaking out. We didn't lay a single person off. On staff right now, we have a videographer, an editor, a manager of our digital, of our entire digital playbook, everything that we do. If you know my partner Jazz, he runs 15 to 20 to 30 posts a day across our platforms and across social media. Excuse me. If you look at, for example, our events, which we are one of the heaviest companies on live events that I know in the business, you're going to see that there is a tremendous amount of energy that shifted from live events instantly into digital events and virtual events. And that messaging to our client database didn't start with, hey, do you want to buy something? Hey, do you want to transact in real estate? It started with checking in on everybody. The first 2 weeks, we ran a massive campaign of checking in on our older clients, sending our text community. We have a massive text community, and we sent every single person a message, checking in. Phone calls. Our inside sales guys were literally calling our database, seeing do they need groceries delivered. That's back when people were hoarding toilet paper in the beginning. That's kind of been cut out now. But during that panic, we were there. If you want to be recognized as a leader in your community, if you want to be recognized as a community champion, somebody who cares, these are the things you need to be doing. You need to be checking in on people. Getting their business should only be a natural result of respect and recognition as a community leader, as a respected and accomplished community citizen and professional. I think what everybody needs to look at is really take a good look at what you have done in the last 3 weeks in a time of crisis. And this isn't a way to judge yourself or anyone else to judge you, but for you to determine what is a priority and what is important to you. How do you want to go about running your book of business? Do you always want to have to pay Google $10,000 a quarter to run ads and get cold leads and make phone calls all day and be transactional? Or are you seeking to be something more? The guy that people call into for expertise. How do people look at you? And I think that's seriously very, very key. I think we've lost Laura here for a second. I'm just going to quickly check into the settings of this thing and we'll continue on. I'm going to get our executive producer, Bobby, to take a look at some things here. Bobby, are you able to come in quickly just to check in? All right, well, what I will do is until Laura gets back, it's really not a big deal. I know she has quite a bit to pipe in. I'm sure she's going to make it back. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to get straight into the broker's playbook, which is kind of the 8-point plan, and I'm going to share with you the exact presentation that's going inside my teams. I have an app for our people, so our 30 odd some team. They all have a proprietary app that we've created to communicate effectively within the team and to each other. And this is kind of how we share our content down to our team, and they're able to now use it, automate it, and share it with their clients and create value. So I'm going to be sharing the exact same branded content that I gave my team. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the one that I gave my team. I'm also going to create an unbranded one that you can share with either your team members or kind of make it where you can have your own presentation and present it out to put yourself in a position that you're the expert. And that's what this collaborative environment is all about. It's all about sharing and collaboration. So this specific presentation was created in conjunction with my brokerage. And I have a huge big ups to Sam Hewitt, who is a complete genius in her field. My broker of record, Chris, his brother, Jeff. A lot of minds have gone into these things. And of course, we're able to succeed on these foundations. So I'm going to just do a quick screen share and rip through some of these slides as talking points. And of course, I'll be sharing that with you over the next 2, 3, 4 days. Give me 1 second. Give me a second. All right. So here we go. So here I have it's a PowerPoint, and I'm not going to go through the micro of it. I'm going to try to stay on kind of the top of it. So this is the new 2020 roadmap. Back in January, we had every year I share kind of what the focus of the year should be and the plan of the year should be. And basically, this is kind of the rewriting of that because of course, the massive global disruption that has taken place. So, excuse me. So we're going to start, as Laura had kicked off, step one is solidify your mindset. And of course, work from a place of facts, not spec. Avoid negative press and negative conversation. It is so natural to get consumed and sucked into a negative place when all you ever hear on the TV is the death toll of this. How many people got sick with that? Business is closing. These people suffering. So if you're looking to get sucked into a negative press, all you have to do is turn on the television. But you can also remember that all you have to do is turn off the television. And if you turn off the television, you're going to find yourself in a place of much more peace. And you're going to find yourself in a place where you can actually speak to things. You can see my screen here. Slow down to speed up, rest, recharge, refocus. That's all part of the morning routine. What does wellness mean to you? Ask for help if you're having a tough time. If your mindset is in the gutter, which I personally went through during this COVID, it was probably week 3 or week 4. I had to call my best friend and business partner, who was Jazz Takar, and I was like, "Bro, I'm having a real fucking shit time right now. Like, this sucks. I'm constantly arguing. The kids are loud. We're not getting shit done. What's happening?" And within kind of 10, 15 minutes of sharing my thoughts and feelings, started to see the sun again. And it was back and forth with him because he had a couple rough days. But you need to have a system of someone you can speak to. So I know the real estate business can be lonely if you're a lone wolf agent. If you have a team, really, really leverage your team and speak to each other. Because what does wellness mean to you? That means something different to everyone. But to me, and very much what Laura Martin shared earlier, it is the morning. For me, the morning is massive. I need to wake up early. I need to have my shit in order. I need to have my to-do list for the day done. I typically say good morning to my team well before 8 a.m. In most cases, between 6 and 7 a.m. Like, I need them to see the first thing that they open their eyes to is a positive message of good morning and I hope you crush today. So that's huge. Life is hard. You are doing it wrong. I mean, we can have many discussions regarding these, and there's a whole set of things that came with this. Step 2 of the 8-point plan is to assess and reassess your financial status. Why this is so important is because you're restarting your business plan. You're legitimately restarting. You're pretending that this is day one. This is January. So you don't need for COVID to end to implement this. This is something that you're implementing today. You need to pull your head out of you know what and get out there and start executing. You need to start executing now. Your clients are waiting for your phone call. Everybody is waiting on you to make it happen. So for you to help someone else, you need to first be in a decent position. So you need to know what's in your funnel, revenue, what's coming in, what do I need? So I need $1,000 a month to survive. I have $1,200 coming in. That means I'm $200 in the black, or I have $800 coming in and I'm $200 in the red. If you're in the red, you need to ensure that you fix that. Expenses, what's going on? Cost of living, taxes, business costs. What can I cut without jeopardizing my business? What can I cut at home? What can I reallocate? Available cash, access to cash from investments, lines of credit, government programs, mortgage deferral options. If you think these don't apply to you, you're mistaken. Government programs, what assistance is available? Well, I will tell you that 2 weeks ago or a month ago, when they announced the 75% wage subsidy, that's something that myself personally, who I have 7 actual employees and a $30K a month payroll, is going to be leveraging. I'm going to seek help from the government because our sales, although we've been championing through COVID, are down significantly as to what they would be if COVID wasn't here. 2020 was supposed to be a record-breaking year, and we got blindsided by the pandemic. Mortgage deferral options. I personally don't need a mortgage deferral. Why? Because I have a 6-month window that I have saved for. If you don't have the luxury that I personally have, you should be deferring your mortgage to ensure that you have cash flow to run your business. Available cash, access to cash from investments, lines of credit. Right now, as of yesterday, the CERB, which is the emergency funding program for small business, every single one of you now qualifies to get a $40,000 loan. Hey, Bobby.
How are you?
How you doing, my man? Is Laura coming back with you? Are you guys trying to figure that out?
We're working on it. Yeah, just some technical issues in the back end. So no big deal.
I'm just going to keep going here, pal.
We're going to get her there.
Sounds good, man. So knowing your expenses and knowing what you can reallocate and what you can allocate to your business is huge right this second, because everything you do is going to give you, of course, either detriment or advantage over your competitors, and establish yourself as that professional, as that community leader that you want to be known as. There's a little graphic here that kind of is the muscle, the fat, the bone. What is it you can cut? What is it that you can reallocate? What reprioritize the list to make sure that you know where your money is going and where it needs to go, and you can take it from there. Step 3, and again, like as you can see, this isn't so different than anything else you've ever heard. But what is different is how you put this into execution. That's the difference. Everybody knows smoking kills you, but to quit smoking, it takes a certain amount of discipline. It takes a certain amount of work that people aren't willing to do. They only quit smoking when they found out they have lung cancer. You only go on a diet after you have a heart attack. So in this case, the business heart attack has come. So if you don't see COVID as a threat, you are completely out to lunch. There's going to be a complete reshuffle. There's going to be a completely blank slate that you can take territory from known players, because they might be hiding in their homes. They might be nervous. They might not know what to do. And if you implement and execute right now, you are going to gain tremendous ground on becoming a community authority. And you don't do that by hiding in the house. You don't do that by going on defense and saving money, as opposed to getting yourself out there on mediums that are free, on mediums that work. So let's talk about developing goals and desired results. And I do see my partner here, Laura Martin's back. Laura, what's up?
Hello.
What's up? I spoke so loud I woke up Siri. My iPad. I'm just happy to see you. Um, well, you're back. I kind of went through expenses, and I'm getting through the roadmap. Why don't you take us through can you see my screen? I'm doing a screen share.
I can see it.
Yeah. So why don't you take us through the goals and desired results?
I love goals. I'm so lofty with my goals. I was reading over this and I like the stretch goal. The stretch goal is good. It's like this, it's been called a lot of things. Vern Harnish, who is scaling up, calls it a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal for your next 3 to 5 years. And it's really important to have like this like ridiculously grand vision for 5 years from now, and then scale that down into, I do quarterly goals, and I like quarterly goals because you can make a goal to sort of suit the time period. Like obviously maybe you don't want to go that hard in July, August if you're really into vacationing. So if you're that kind of person, if you really love your summers, then you better go really ham. September to June. Like you gotta go ham to make those goals. So I have quarterly goals, and it matters, you know, what you're able to do in certain times of the year. There's obviously hot times of the market and lesser times. I always, of course, everyone does the January 1st kind of New Year's goals, but it's really important to prize these on at least a 1 or 2 month basis. So a goal could be, you know, I want to close 30 deals this year. And okay, as a mortgage broker, you know what that means? There's a 20% conversion ratio. So if you want to close 30 deals, you better have taken 100, 200, 300 apps.
Well, at 20%, that's 150. Let's keep it real simple. You got to reverse engineer your mother sucking goal. It's that simple. You want to do 30 deals? You know you close to 20%? It's 150 apps you got to take. Where are they coming from?
Where are they coming from? And that's full on apps. That's not a phone call. That's like you got all the details. Or as a real estate agent, like you got that, like, hey, let's go look at houses, you know, representation agreement. And of course, you guys know that representation agreement is not a done deal. That's only the beginning.
Only the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about the big, hairy, audacious goals. I was so fortunate, along with my partner, to interview Grant Cardone last week. That podcast, yes, it's huge. That's 10x. So other people call it big, hairy, audacious goal. Grant Cardone calls it 10x goal, and his 10x conference and everything else. And as I told Grant in our interview, he means a lot to me because I don't necessarily agree with everything he says and does. He's quite the character, just like anyone else is, just like I am, just like Laura is. So you don't have to love everything about someone, but all you need to do is take at least one thing from someone. So when you're on Broker's Playbook tonight, if you take away one thing, you've won. And we've won. So our goal is to share everything we know, but if everything we say is complete garbage, except for that one nugget that translated something to you about how to set your goal, how to get to your goal better, everybody won. And from Grant Cardone in this last week, I just heard big, hairy, audacious goals, and all I could think about is Mr. 10X, which is Uncle G. So big props to him, man, because he means a lot to me. And I set big goals, and so far in life, we've been very fortunate. We've achieved them, and that's by grinding it out. So set your big goals. But step number 4, Laura.
Yeah, and you got to build a strategy. But, you know, I just want to remind everyone why we're here. Simeon, I have a question.
Yes, girl.
How many people do you know that are 10 times more educated than you, that are more successful than you?
I know a few.
But the beautiful thing about mortgage and real estate is, as we know, the bar to enter the mortgage industry is a 5-day course for the low price of $400. There's 10,000 mortgage agents in Ontario. And you're going to get a whole bunch that have come in from, they were truckers, they were assistants, they were all over the place. Like everyone is from everything, right? And it is absolutely on the table for you to make 7 figures per year in this industry. It is literally a matter of your hard work. You are absolutely in control and able to do this.
Discipline. It's discipline and ethic.
You can't take that away from you. Like, your strategy should be work your ass off, because that's the strategy. Consistently working your butt off, not doing things that are below your pay grade, because guess what? You can get an assistant to do that paperwork. You can get an assistant to do that social media stuff. All of that is below your pay grade. You know what you need to be doing? You need to be on the phone, sourcing business, doing revenue generating activities.
Yeah, and if I ever hear anybody say, and if I ever hear somebody say work smarter, not harder, you're going to catch this pencil to the neck. Like, to work smarter, you got to work harder. So it's working smarter is not putting automation and efficiency. That's just systems. But people kind of find the excuse, no, I work smarter, not harder. No, you don't. You just lowered your standards. Because if you're working smarter, that means that the 2 hours you're opened up with your latest efficient and innovation, you can take those 2 hours and build another vertical. You can take those 2 hours and it doesn't have to be building your business. You can be building yourself.
Yep.
But if the result is what you're chasing, if you're looking at getting in that number one spot, or if you're looking to getting into 7 figures or the high 6s or whatever the case may be, don't say work smarter to me and look at me with that face just because I can't even deal. Like, I can't even deal. Like, I've just been at this too long, and there hasn't been a day in my career so far that I can say I worked smarter and it meant working less. Not once.
I hate you. I have worked smarter, not harder as a slide in my pitch deck for Matrix recruitment.
There you go.
And what it refers to is the fact that we have back-end support. So for those of you that don't know, I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Matrix Mortgage Global. I'm saying this like, a trained like dog and pony show or whatever. But okay, the deal is that I run the biggest, baddest mortgage brokerage in Canada, and we focus on private mortgages. I've been a broker for 13 years, but I don't really underwrite my own deals. Like, I point and shoot. I'm like, yeah, send it here, send it there. And I have a team that does that for me. And they do all the follow-up with the underwriters. They do the follow-up with the documentation. They're reading line by line on those financial statements. I hate the micro of things, right? Like, it's not my jam. So, like, do absolutely delegate. And, like, when I say work smart, not hard, I mean delegate the things that you're shit at. So do that. But what you are good at, 10x. Like, you got to go so hard at those things.
So hard. So hard. I don't want to go into the details and the micro of this. So what I'll say, I want us to hit some really big points. With big goals comes execution. And of course, the strategy, I want to hit some points. But Laura, just for the sake of time and respecting our audience, why don't we hit some big points from the next 4 or 5 slides and close off with some execution from us, like what we're executing on right now, because I think that's the biggest goal here is going to be something that somebody can relate to. So as opposed to somebody that like these build strategy, they have to translate that into their own business. But us sharing our actual execution right now is something they can take direct. So let's finish off this build strategy and go down quick, so we can get into that last 10 minutes where I really, really want to share what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the strategy right now is a soft sell. It's to, talk to 5 to 10 people a day. Yeah, that sounds easy. But then even better, like, I had a day last week where I did webinars with 120 people. Now that's working smart, not hard. Like,
that's it, right?
That's what's up, right? Like, I didn't make 120 phone calls. That's insane. But like, you need to take the time, and yes, it is tedious. I make it sound easy, but no, I had to get the database together, send the emails, make the presentation, and do that consistently. And it does take a lot of front end work. But guess what? Now that business is kind of slow and iffy, this is the time to do that front end work. Get your sales pitch down. Make sure that you have your audience locked and loaded so that you can blast them with emails, right? Like, you need to be in their face. There's no such thing as getting in touch with people too much.
Do you want to laugh right now? Do you want to laugh, lady?
Yeah.
So strategy. Look what you're saying and look what the slides are. Strategy. What service do my client needs? What service am I comfortable providing? Planting seeds. How can I help? Everything that you just said. Everything that you just said. Is it a market update? Is it a CMA? Is it you reminding them what the rates are today?
Anything. You could talk about reverse mortgages. You could talk about investment properties. I did a great property investment seminar with a real estate agent, Stephanie Wilkins. And, she did most of the work. Like, she had her slides, I had my slides, and we leveraged each other's network. There were some of her people out, some of my people. We both did it on Instagram. We met each other through Instagram. So, guess what? Social media is free. Sweat equity is free. And absolute empires were built on grit and relationship building and simply information sharing. And this is where we're at. So what you need to be doing is getting your pitch deck together and saying, okay, what do my clients need? What can I offer them? How can I package it in digestible bits of information that isn't shallow? Okay, so guess what? That quote about, 90% of millionaires grew rich in real estate on your Instagram isn't doing shit. I've done it. I can tell you, it does shit all.
All right. Step five. We're talking about self-education.
Exactly. So go deep, educate yourself. Beyond memes.
Self-education. Okay, Mom, we'll do that, Mom.
Okay.
Self-education.
Sounds really exciting, but this is adulthood.
I know. And it's just too easy, and that's the problem. And that's where I see really. I want our second and third and fourth podcast. I legit want half the time to be our audience on here. Like, I want to hear what's happening on the ground in Richmond Hill. I want to know what the fuck it is that you're struggling with and how we could possibly help. And if we can help, who can help? How do we work through this shit? So whatever it is we're dealing with. But going into that, step number 5, self-education. I'm not talking about reading theory books. That's a big part of it. You can spend that time in the morning to put that in. But during the day, right now, there is at least 1 million webcasts being put out. The biggest authorities: Urban Nation, CMHC, Royal Bank, TD Bank. Benjamin Tall was at my brokerage. We had the honor and the privilege of having Benjamin Tall. You know what? I'm going to share that. I'm going to send that out to our audience.
Okay.
And this was literally 4 days ago. It's not in the beginning of COVID, like it's relevant now. So if you're not spending some time understanding the fucking situation, there is nothing anybody can do to help you. I'm not talking about looking at CNN and the negativity. I'm talking about constructive, proper, factual information that is going to help you lead down a path of success. That's going to lead you to make the right decisions at the right time. That's what I'm talking about. And that's when these resources come in. If you don't have these resources, shoot us a message. It's community@brokersplaybook.com. There is no other email address. There's no Simeon, there's no Laura, there's no info. It's community@brokersplaybook.com. Join the community, get on that email list, communicate with us. If you need help on anything, that's what we're here to actually do, is to leverage each other. Anything else do you think we need to hit from a self-education perspective?
Just stay away from negative news, just the relevant stuff, stick to the facts. Some really great resources include like being in groups like Broker's Playbook and things like that, right? Leveraging other industry authorities like Benjamin Tall or Sherry Cooper, and just it's all about your sales game though, right? Like the market is so fluid. It's so fluid, but the principles remain. It's supply and demand. You know what just happened with the market, Simeon? Supply and demand went down at the same rate, resulting in not really much happening in prices.
That's right. But everybody was screaming to say, but real estate's down 80%, Laura. Real estate, no, it's not. Volume is down 80%.
It's down 80%.
Yeah. No, people
no
love
one can sell houses. Duh.
Creating a message. Creating a message is huge. I mean, this is probably the biggest piece of today. You have to be careful on how you craft it. You don't need to be pussyfooting around and walking on eggshells. You know your audience more than anyone else. You know your audience better than I do. You know your audience better than Laura does. It doesn't matter what anybody says you should do. If it doesn't feel right to do it, don't. Because it's not right for you. If the words don't easily come out of your mouth, shut it. It's the wrong thing. Make a message that's running nice and easy and comfortable because people know who you are. So focus on service, education, sharing facts. How can you be of assistance to someone? How's the market? Depends if you're buying or selling. Like adjust your conversation.
That's the point that it's all right. Listen, a lot of you are out there and you think that social media is reserved for the extroverts, for people that want to tweet about their latte and their avocado toast and whatever's happening like every day, every second. Listen, you need to do video. You do. I don't care what you look like or how you think you sound like or how deserving you think you are, or if you never thought you wanted to be the next Oprah or whatever, okay? Video translates better. Video gets more views. Video curries trust more. People are too lazy to read, so you need to get comfortable just shooting a little minute, 3 minutes, whatever it is. No one's awesome their first time. You know, it might take a million takes, but find something that's interesting, something that will provide value to whoever you're aiming the video at, and just talk and practice and get used to it. Because this is the new normal. This is the new normal. You being on video, talking directly to your audience and building that audience and being a digital native, making friends digitally. Guess what? Simeon and I met yesterday. Do you think Broker's Playbook has been in play since yesterday? No, it's been at least 6 weeks. So guess what? Internet is real life. Digital life is real life, and you need to get your physical presence in all of your hand-waving glory on it.
Last but not least, you need to execute and you need to track. I have this list up on the screen here for like literally 30 seconds. I want to go into a really, really strong close with our audience tonight. So the plan that every single person here is going to have access to, and there's been quite a few comments when I was jibber-jabbering on my own there when Laura was gone. There's a few people that said, they already have a copy of our book and they gave us props, and I want to just acknowledge your comments and your kind words. Thank you. I appreciate it. To all the kind comments right now. And there was a few targeted to Laura for people that I haven't met yet. Obviously, they know Laura well and they're big fans. So thanks to all of you. But the plan here is solidify your mindset, assess and reassess your finances, develop your goals, build your strategy, continue understanding the market via self-education, create your unique message, execute on it, and track the living shit out of what you're doing so you don't make the same mistake twice and you do make the same winning strategy thrice. You want to do that shit all day. So, Laura, I'm just going to stop the screen share, and let's go into just the last few minutes here with some really strong tips and next action items.
All right, so I think right now, today, the big news for both brokers and agents is the fact that CMHC is highly likely to remove 5% down payment purchasing.
Got it.
If real estate and mortgage agents have clients that were in that bracket, you need to seriously get them moving towards that before that door closes. So what this could mean is your next email blast talks about, hey, get your foot in the door before this option is gone. I think that's absolutely the most timely thing you can do. You're going to be ahead of all the major media outlets. This is knowledge based on an interview that was done yesterday through BNN with a CMHC representative. So, like, really, it's industry knowledge, but it's not to the public at large. So you need to leverage this kind of insider information and make your followers feel like insiders.
Why don't I do this? I'm communicating right now via LinkedIn with one of the vice presidents of CMHC. Her name is Andrea Sabatini. She appeared on a massive webcast about 3 weeks ago for International Home Marketing Group, which is a pre-construction sales and marketing agency, which is run by a very, very respected colleague of mine, Mr. Elliot Tobe. After I saw her on there, I was so impressed that myself and in my direction of team operations, Bobby Pume, reached out, and we're in contact. I'm going to try to book her for not next Wednesday, we're a bi-weekly webcast. So the following Wednesday, why don't we have CMHC on here? To get through some clarity. I would love to hear from our audience with if you think that's of value or if you want us to bring somebody on a different subject. I mean, like, you guys are going to be a very big part of how this whole thing plays out, because it's going to be based on your needs and requirements and what we all think is going to provide the biggest and highest value. So why don't I reach out to Andrea, see if she is available, and if she is, I'll book her in. Otherwise, everybody, please let me know and holler at me, or Laura. You can reach us on our personal DMs all over social. We're on every platform, of course. All you have to do is search our names. But if you want to reach out to the Playbook, just community@brokersplaybook.com.
Wicked. Yeah, and for anyone that isn't, find us on Facebook, find us on LinkedIn, subscribe, and we will be in your inbox on Friday with all of these hot off-the-press tips for you.
All right. So I would like to once again thank everybody for logging in. Appreciate your support. Laura, I want to thank you for doing a hell of a job on this very first inaugural webcast. I'm honored to host this thing with you, and I look forward to many more. Everybody.
See you in a couple of weeks, folks.
Take care.